So in the last tutorial, we went ahead and finished up our door opening and closing code. And so you can say I open a door here, I shoot off a few of these rockets, it lets me pass these blockade, I'm into the next area, and then I can walk back in. And I've got a nice opening and closing door sound playing. So let's take a look at our code as a whole. Whenever you finish a little script, you always want to ask yourself, and this is in respect to improving your own programming ability. Is my code the cleanest it could be, right? So is there any way I can take these methods that already exist, for example, void open door is a method, and shut door is a method, and compress them? And one way of deciphering that is to look at the code itself and saying, is there a lot of common variables? So for example, we have this door is open variable, so we're pretty much rewriting the same variable multiple times. So right now we could, if we're just sort of hacking together a game, we could stop here and just move on to the next object. And a lot of times I do that because of time constraints whenever I'm working on personal projects. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and now be careful to really follow along here because I don't want you to get lost or delete something. You want to look at each one of these methods modularly. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to condense my void open door here. So I'm just going to cut that and paste that below here. And you don't have to do that because I'm actually going to delete these in a second. So I'm going to condense both of these down into one method. And out of the onController collider hit, I'm going to swap out this open door to just a door method. And this door method is going to be called multiple times. And the same thing from void update. So you can look at void update as a way of checking if the door is shut, and the onController collider hit to check if it's open. So like I said, I'm going to delete these two methods in a second. So right now I'm going to create another method just below it that I'm going to combine these two together. So let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and type void, and let me just zoom in on this method so you can really just focus on this. Void door. Now, what you can do is instead of just passing one game object here, is I can do four, again we have one parameter here, I'm going to do 4 parameters here. Okay? Now the first parameter I'm going to pass is an audio clip. And I'm just going to call this audio clip a clip. Okay? The next thing I'm going to do is check if the door is open. So I'll make another Boolean variable here, and I'll call it open check. I'll do one more variable here, a string, and I'll call it animation name. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just copy this game object door here and paste it here. Alright. With these three selected, or with these three, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to retype these lines of code using just these guys right here. So for example, let's just go down the list. We'll do this as, instead of door, because our method is named door, and I kind of like to stay away from that unless we're overloading things. So let's just do this door. That might be better. Alright, so let's say, remember game object, this door is the actual door. If you remember from up here, when we go to our collider hit, we're actually going to pass current door here. So you'll see that in a second. So this door, and then we're just going to go ahead and copy this door open sound. But I'm going to replace this door open sound with just generic a clip. So again, audio a clip doesn't have door open sound or door close sound because this method is going to serve the purpose of both of these. So you have to sort of say generic. Alright, so let's go on to the next one, which is we're just going to set, just like we did here, we're going to set the door open to just check if it is open. So remember, we have a door is open function up here. Where's that at? Here it is, door is open, so we can copy that. We can paste it here, and I'm just going to set it equal to open check. Alright, and then let's make sure there's a period here. There we go. Alright, so let's do this door, .animation.play, and instead of using door open, we're going to use our generic animation name here. Alright, so we have a very generic method here that's going to take up both of these. So let's go ahead and delete both of these, the void door shut and the void open. And again, we're really cleaning up our code here. Now, if you you might have to review the basics. If this is completely confusing to you, go back and rewatch all of the basics videos if you're serious about getting better at coding. Looks like I deleted something. There we go. Okay. So at this point, we just have our onColliderHit method, and then we have our void update method, and then we have this method here that's going to be called from each one of these. So we no longer have a shut door method and an open door method. We deleted those. So let's go ahead and rename this just door. Now remember, we have 4 parameters here: aclip, open check, animation name, and this door. So we have to pass in 4 parameters in this exact order. Now remember, our onColliderHit is right when we bump into our object, it's going to check if the door is open. It's going to open the door, and then it's going to play the open door sound. So we have to pass all of those 4 parameters inside of here. So 2, 3, 4. So the first thing I'm going to look at is, what audio clip do I want to pass when I first bump into the door? Well, I want to pass the door open sound. Now remember, the second we bump into the door, our door is going to be open, so we have to set that to true. So I'm just going to type true here. Let's go ahead and okay. Now string animation name, let's go back here, and you can see I have door open, door close. I'm just going to copy that door open. Now this is a string, so remember we have to put these like that. Alright, let's get rid of this last guy, we don't need that. And game object this door, we want to do current door. Alright, so if I save this, let's go ahead and check that. We might have to comment out this line because it's going to give us errors like this isn't being used, because there's no method called shut door. So let's save this, let's test this out. You can see it's open. Okay, now we have a problem, our door isn't closing. Okay, so how do we fix that? Well, remember what I told you before, and our update function is what really controls if our door is open for a specific period of time, and then we close it, right? So let's just copy this method here, paste it here, and I'm just going to change these values out. So now we want to close our door. Actually, let's put this, well, we'll leave it there. Alright, so let's go ahead and do door shut sound. And again, we want to set our door to false so that we can reopen it later. We have an animation called door close with a capital C. So let's change this to door close. We're going to keep current door the same. Alright, so let's go ahead and save this. And let's check this out. So I'm going to open the door, clear off these boxes, walk through, the door closed. Let me walk back through. Okay. So I'm going to end this tutorial here, and I'm going to actually make this sort of an alternative. If you want to tackle this, I mean, this again, for those of you who are really interested in becoming, really as artists, just dialoguing with programmers or kind of understanding some of the thought process, I think this is a good way of practicing. Like, how can I condense my code into smaller, cleaner chunks of code?